Days after the arrest of President Nicolas Maduro, President Trump says the U.S. is not at war with Venezuela. During an NBC interview last night, Trump said Venezuela would not hold elections in the next 30 days. It comes as the president seems to be making a push for a new world order, and that includes the takeover of Greenland. Trump is renewing his push for the U.S. to seize the Danish territory from Denmark. Senator Mark Kelly joined CBS Mornings earlier today and had this to say about the president's comments.
Here's the thing that I really worry about. Now Donald Trump is talking about maybe overthrowing the leadership of Colombia, who's an ally of ours. That's different than Venezuela. Or maybe
sending messages to Cuba.
Greenland. I mean, is he going to bring up Canada again at this point? I wasn't really concerned about the Greenland thing again until this week, until he seems to be serious about going after a NATO ally of ours. That would blow up the entire NATO alliance.
CBS News senior White House correspondent Weijia Jiang joins me now for much more. Weijia, thank you for your time today. Can you walk us through the renewed interest in Greenland, and have any NATO allies responded to these threats?
Well, President Trump has long been fixated on the idea of taking over Greenland, and I think why there's renewed interest, renewed discussion around this is because he was asked about Greenland when he was talking about Venezuela aboard Air Force One on his return back here to the White House. A reporter asked, well, what about Greenland? And the president said, well, ask me about that in 20 days. And then you had Katie Miller, who was a longtime aide both in the first Trump administration and during a good part of the current administration, and the wife of Stephen Miller, who is obviously one of the president's closest advisors. She actually posted on X an image of Greenland suggesting that it was or would be taken over by the U.S., and that's why there was more fuel added to that conversation. And then her husband, Stephen Miller, talked about this during an interview when he was asked about the president's plan to take it over. Take a listen.
The United States should have Greenland as part of the United States. There's no need to even think or talk about this in the context that you're asking of a military operation. Nobody's going to fight the United States militarily over the future of Greenland.
And so he didn't really offer, an argument about the legality of taking over Greenland, about how that would even work. But to your other question, Mugo, certainly the Greenland officials and NATO have responded. In fact, in a joint statement, the leaders of several countries issued a statement to say that Greenland belongs to its people. It is for Denmark and Greenland, and them only to decide on matters concerning Denmark and Greenland. And that was from the leaders of France, Germany, Italy, Poland, Spain, and the UK. And then the Prime Minister of Denmark also said that an American attack on Greenland would cause the end of NATO, and also said in a statement that the current and repeated rhetoric coming from the U.S. is entirely unacceptable. And so even though the president seems keen on continuing his discussion about his ambition towards Greenland, we have heard from other world leaders who are essentially dismissing it as a real possibility, Mugo.
Okay, Weijia Jiang at the White House for us today. Thank you so much.